And so now here in the West, people are interpreting the word Sangha as meaning the Buddhist community. Everyone. Anyone who goes to a Buddhist society or Buddhist meeting, they say is prasong. And this is ridiculous, because prasong is one of the three jewels. Earlier, when you took refuges, you took refuge in the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha. This is the triple gem, the three jewels, the three precious things that we all revere and where we go for refuge. So these three are important, and we can see the Buddha, a mind perfected, a mind which is totally free of greed, hatred and delusion. Pratam, the Dhamma, the Buddha's teachings, the way to achieve that. So we don't just have this shining example of the Buddha, we also have the means to achieve that purity of mind for ourselves. And when we talk about purity of mind, it means a mind which is discarded forever greed, hatred and delusion. And when greed is gone, then of course all suffering is gone. So we don't have to talk about being happy or trying to be happy. We talk about losing our suffering, discarding our suffering, peeling it away and discarding it. So this is kind of relatively easily, I think, for people to understand. The Buddha, the Dhamma, then where does the Sangha fit in? So they say the community, everyone. But that's ridiculous, because the Sangha is one of the three jewels. Now sometimes we think of the Sangha as they call the Arya Sangha. That means those who are Arahant, Anagami, Sakadagami and Sota. So we see those four classes of beings as special. So people talk of the Arya Sangha, those who have attained to some degree of enlightenment, who have already started this powerful process of purification. It's actually begun to happen in their minds. But still, during the Buddha's lifetime, when people went for refuge, they went for refuge to the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha, and they didn't necessarily go for refuge to Arya Sangha, but to the Bhikkhu Sangha or the Bhikkhu Bhikkhuni Sangha. In other words, the community of those who are ordained. And that community, this community, is very important, because it gives people the opportunity to go forth, to leave behind their worldly concerns, and to practice properly. And practicing in prasong is entirely different from practicing as a lay person. It's true, you can practice, you can come a long way as a lay person. But you know, I compare prasong to a great university. Some of you are at university. Some of you are studying at university. Some of you are at great universities, like London or Warwick or York, important universities. And your experience there, studying at university, is very different from those who don't have the chance to go to university but study at home, go to night school or open university or something like that. And it's different. You can still pass the exams, but the quality is different, and the opportunity to have a really sort of mature understanding of things isn't there. It's totally different if you're at a great university. That great university is a body of knowledge and experience. It's been there for a long time. Lots of people, wonderful people, great scholars have been to that university and contributed to this great body of knowledge and experience. And it's a wonderful place because of it. Sometimes, of course, the great universities go through difficult times. Oxford at one time went through a very difficult time. For years, this is a long time ago, for years there were no examinations. But still the buildings were there, the libraries were there, the scholars were there. And eventually it came out of that dark period and revived and grew again. And every so often, of course, now it has its troubles. But it comes through them it repairs them, and it carries on. This is how life is and growth is. And Prasong is the same. It's like a great university and a great opportunity. And it also has this great body of knowledge and experience. Many important Aryas, Arahants, Arahants have been members of Prasong, and they've contributed to it. And of course we know that the Bhikkhu Sangha, we know every so often there are disappointments. There are places where Prasong is not very strong. We know that things go wrong, and monks misbehave. We know all that, but still the Sangha is there. This important institution remains, and it protects the teachings of the Buddha and enables us still to this day to have them available. And it's important, you see, it is said that the teachings of the Buddha are not established anywhere until there is a native Sangha. It's not good enough just to bring monks from abroad. We also have to have people who are born here become monks. We have to have what is called like a native Sangha. And when that is established, when people who have been born and grown up here, who are part of the society here, become members of Prasong, then Buddhism becomes properly established. It takes root. And that, of course, happens nowadays. And we have monks here who are English monks. I'm an English, although I'm partly a Thai monk, and sometimes I'm a Burmese monk. But really I'm just a monk, a Buddhist monk. So today is a day when we celebrate Prasong, we celebrate the Sangha, and we rejoice in the fact that we have this important jewel, and that we have the opportunity, those who wish to join the Sangha, and we have the influence and the effect and the example of the Sangha. Last night when I was giving a talk here, I said, I saw this in time, that where there is a good temple, where there are good monks, then the society around it changes, it improves. Now, many years ago, for my third wasa, that's 36 years ago, I spent the wasa at a little remote village called Suankroi, Pan Suankroi. And it was a very difficult place to get to and from in those days. And when the rains came, we were cut off. The roads were impassable. And it was quite a poor place. But the headman, the Puyai Ban, he had been temporary monk at one time, and he was a Luksada Lumpur. And he at one time had really despaired of all the trouble in that village. There were no police anywhere near. And there was plenty of buffalo rustling going on, all sorts. And people used to have to stay up all night to try and protect their buffaloes from being pinched. And he went to Lumpur Chang, and he said he couldn't think what to do. So he went to Lumpur Chang and he said, would you establish a forest wall at Suankroi? It's the only way, the only hope for improving things in Pan Suankroi. So Lumpur Chang said, yeah. And so we established this small temple, and I stayed there for one pansa. And it was it was very small, and but very nice. And I liked it. I was very happy there. And the people were very good to us, very devoted, and it changed the village. And sometimes when I used to walk, I'd walk Tudong a little bit, go from place to place. You go through different villages. And if there was a good wat, the village was different. The village was cleaner, better ordered. The behaviour of the people was better. If there was no wat, nothing, the place was scruffy, the people lying around, not doing very much, behaviour not very good. It was visible, because they didn't have the example of Prasong. They didn't have that living example.